Happy Wednesday, guys. I keep thinking that it's Tuesday, but it is in fact Wednesday. There we go. I don't know if that'll help or not. I just got home from work not that long ago. The boys are awake from their naps and I am back in the office trying to get as much done as possible because Friday I work from home and it would be ideal if I could do some work in the office because it's just going to be really tricky to work while the boys are awake and running around. While it's been kind of slow at work and I know I can do it and it'll be fine, it would just be really nice if the office was relatively put back together. So I'm just trying to tape up the windows because I was going to do the inside of this the same color as that part, which is going to be like, it's more of like a dark gray tealy blue color. It's really pretty. It should complement everything really well, but I just thought this would be a nice little accent to do it on the inside here, but we're gonna hang some curtains anyways. So the boys are playing kind of nicely. They've gotten in a couple little arguments, but overall they're doing pretty well, so I figured I would tape as much as possible and then hopefully we can get that main separator piece of trim hung here. I don't even know if you can see, but I'll show you. But I have to move all of that furniture back out of the way over there, shift things around again, probably get this ladder out of here. So there's plenty to do while I have the time. And then of course it'll be dinner time and stuff soon, and I still have to get my lunch together for tomorrow and clothes together for tomorrow for me and the boys, and do all of that normal work stuff. Before, when I used to tape walls, I would literally keep the roll intact and just try to like keep taping. And for some reason this time around, I just like went for it and just would keep cutting tiny pieces and line them up. And it has made the process so much faster. Another pro tip to painting, if you don't know, or if you're gonna start tackling a DIY project, is when you're painting a room, if you haven't finished, you can throw rollers and paintbrushes and edgers in like a plastic bag, like any kind of shopping bag, like a grocery plastic bag, or you could use a Ziploc bag too. But if you tie it up tight and put it in the fridge, it'll keep it moist, and then you can keep using it until you're finished with that color on each wall. So that's what I did, and it's a huge time saver. You don't have to clean the brushes every time just to dirty them up with the same color, and then you're also not having to just kind of let them sit and get hard and waste any of the products, because painting is like one of the cheaper ways to transform your house, but it can still be expensive in terms of like all the stuff you need to go along with it all. There's something almost therapeutic about taping. So once all the wall portions are done, it's going to be really exciting because then we can move on to the shelving portion of the project, which is going to involve sanding down the rougher pieces of wood. Because they were cheaper, they are very rough. They're not sanded. They're not perfect pieces of wood by any means, but they're pretty much just going to be like the back end against the wall. So it'll look good. So we'll have to sand them, clean them up, and then stain them. Maybe I'll cut this in half. And then, well, first I think we'll be sanding, and then it will be assembling. And then after that, we will we'll be sanding, cleaning them up, assembling them, and then putting the stain on it. Oh man, I missed this little bit. I don't know if you can hear them. They're arguing. It's like 1 second they're pretending to be dinosaurs, the next second they're fighting. All right, so that's almost taped. Just got to get the top of both. Let's see, that looks like it's painted. The hardest part of this too with the taping is like lining up wherever there's yellow. Did you call her? Measuring is all done. I found the center point here. I decided that this is where the main trim piece will start. So the shelving will be all up here. We'll do 4 shelves and then the trim piece will be here. It's gonna be about that thick. And then it'll leave just enough space for there to be a few inches above and below the trim outline of the squares that we're gonna do that are gonna be 3 by 3. So I think all the measurements are panning out so far. I found the center points. I found the center point on the 10-inch long piece of thicker decorative trim for the top separator piece. So if I can get that up, then the plan for tomorrow will be to cut the long pieces of trim into 3-foot pieces and angle them so that we can make them into squares on here. So tomorrow will be a lot more measuring, but if I can get that big piece up and have the measurements relatively set for tomorrow, all we'll have to do is cut and pretty much nail them up, and then maybe tomorrow we could get the squares up in place and I could paint. That would be absolutely amazing, because then by Friday morning I could just kind of plug in the computer, shift things around and work, and then just kind of finish up the room with the final decor pieces and make it super cute and make it feel like home. Maybe go look for a rug or something fun to zhuzh it up and warm it up. We also still need curtains and things like that, but the overall flipping, like the big transformation pieces, will be finished, which is so exciting. So I'm gonna try to get this piece up and centered, and then we should be good to go. got all the square molding up on the wall, and the main molding that separates the top from the bottom of the wall is also up. We got those little side edges all tucked away and in place, so that's super exciting. I'm so glad and thankful that I have my dad's help. So he did all of the cutting and managing the saw pretty much while I was at work, so that just like cut so much time in half. I'm very, very thankful, because working full time and then having the boys and then coming home and doing a project a little bit bigger like this one, it would just take so much longer. I know I could knock it out over the weekend, but the fact that it's Thursday and that's already pretty much done, I'm gonna try to get it painted tonight as well, so that I can work in the office tomorrow morning for my half work day from home. But we're taking a little play break. It's already dark outside, unfortunately, but we're just gonna play, kind of prep for dinner. I might give the boys a bath, and then I will reevaluate based on how they're doing. I might not get to painting today, but it is my goal. Oh, am I being summoned? Do you need my help?
Yeah.
Did the tire break again?
Yeah.
Oh man.
How we can fix it?
I think I can fix it. Gentlemen, so this is the progress so far. I think it's looking so good, so exciting. I wish you could have seen my mom's face and my dad's too when they saw even just the first square done. So it's almost, it's like 5:45 right now. I've been up since like 4:20. Hendrix woke up. They were both sleeping in my bed, and he said he wasn't feeling well. So he moved back to his room. So I'll be keeping an eye on him, just trying to stay quiet and listen. They have sound machines, everything's fine, but my poor buddy, I hope he's not sick, because I hate it when they're sick. When little kids are sick, it's just like the saddest thing ever. So I'm just gonna try to do this really quick. I have to hop on by 7 o'clock for my work from home day. Today is Friday, so I have a 4-hour work day from home. So that's super nice. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to work in the office because the desk is over there and everything's just going to be wet and moved around. But my goal, which shouldn't be a problem, is to get this all painted, the darker half of the color, and then the inside of the windows over here. I was going to do the same dark color, which is why they haven't been painted, but that got nixed. My mom wants them the same color as the walls, which is not a big deal, that's fine. So I'll probably knock that out first really quick, and then I'll move on to the walls, or this wall right here. And the last little touch that I want to do that I'm hoping to get done today is all of these little sockets here, which I don't even know if that's the right term, but like the socket covers or the plug covers, I kind of want to paint with acrylic paint and do like some type of pattern. Of course, I'm thinking floral right now because that's just always my go-to, is like a floral painting, but I thought something complementary to the blues and the grays that this will be, and something just kind of like an unexpected pop of color. So I think there's 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the light switch. So there's 5. So I'm gonna try to do that today too. I kind of didn't want them to know about it, but I might have to do it out in the kitchen area. So I don't know, we'll just see, because I'll just have to try to time it to have that done by the time the wall is dry, and then we're like untaping things so that when the room is like more put together, that will be that. I do want to like reorganize and decorate things, but I think that's just going to be a later stage down the road. I would like to get a rug. We want to get curtains and just like little bits and bobs, you know, the things that really start to bring a room together. But I've also just learned over the years not to rush that process. Then you're just like getting things that you might not totally love. It might not really work with the room. You're just getting it to get it. And I don't want to do that in any room anymore. So it will come as it comes. Oh, and we still have the shelves to do. So this room is like not very close to being done. I mean, we're probably at the halfway point, but we still have to literally make all these shelves. So that will be in part 3 of the series. But so far, everything's going very smoothly, very well, and I better stop talking and get to painting. So let's just dive in. So good. Yesterday we did a test run with one of the shelves that I am assembling. We did the glue, but unfortunately the glue has to dry for 24 hours. So I think the shelves are just gonna take about a week to totally be done and be ready to put up. But my dad had a good idea that we should just do one shelf, kind of like a tester, and get it all assembled. Don't stain it yet, and then bring it in here and kind of hold it up, lay a record on it, and just make sure everything will work well. Once the glue is dry, we're gonna use the nail gun to go ahead and really just make sure that it's put together well enough. And I will pre-drill some holes. I think I'm just gonna do 3 holes along the way. That way we're not putting a bunch of holes into the newly painted walls or anything like that. I think the shelf is gonna work just fine, but I think just test running things sometimes is a good idea. So that is where we're at with the shelving. I just finished taking the rest of the tape off in the room, So I do see some like rough edges with the paint and it is really bothering me, and I would love to fix it on the top. I'm looking at it right now, but I don't think we would have the paint to match. So it's killing me. Part of me wants to just like trim out the ceiling because the edger was just a little rough. So I don't know, I'll get feedback from my parents. They're probably not gonna care, but it's gonna bother me because I did it and that's just the way I roll about things. So we'll have to think about that. And then I'm just gonna show you really quick when I took the paint off of this. So it's mostly fine, like you're not gonna be up this close to see, but there are a bunch of little spots like this. So there's that there. Like this is just gonna bother me, especially because it's so dark and then this is white. So I'm probably just gonna touch all of this stuff up. I don't know how to keep this straight. And like that. This is bothering me a little bit too. I'm not sure why it didn't tape up so crisp because that side is like very sharp. I could tell right when I took the tape off that it was like a sharp, nice line. Not so much on that side, but I guess like overall when you're in the room, you're not really noticing it that much. So it's all good. It's looking really good, huge transformation in a short period of time. I'm telling you, if you want to change up something big, painting is definitely the way to go. And then if you have the ability, the time, and the funds to also do like wood accents, it is all the rage and makes such a difference. But that is just the kind of check-in point that we're at right now. So probably in the next half hour, I'm gonna touch up those little chips from taking the paint off, and then we'll touch in with my parents about the edging stuff. But yeah, it's looking good, coming together, and just have to keep testing out those shelves. Exciting stuff.